So we're going to start with, from the ceremonial cap, the grim-visaged Wang Ping.
It really fits. You probably all know my situation at McAllister, so it's pretty grim, but it's getting better. And also, I'm going to read my just recently written kind of fable, kind of like grim brother fable. So thank you. Yeah, it's called "The Russian Must Not Die." My arms have been up for half an hour. Thence, the academy officer allows only the names predetermined, each reading from their drafted speech on how Russian is dead and why the department must go. Pauline shouts, "Vance, let Ping speak!" Vance chooses not to hear her. The vote will begin at any minute. I take off my red velvet shoes and walk to the mountain barefooted. I stand there 3 inches away from his face. He can no longer pretend not seeing me. Vance sighs, "Okay, Ping, you're the last. 3 minutes, then we vote." "Thanks, Vance. I'd like to share a story how Russian saved my life twice." The stand-only boardroom becomes quiet. My voice quivers from the tension. I have 3 minutes to get the swing votes to save Russian. I grew up without books or schools. Everything was banned, burned, buried. One day, I unearthed a box under the chicken coop. I pried it open and pulled out a whole... and pulled out Journey to the West, Dreams of the Red Chamber, Romeo and Juliet, The Great Expectation, War and Peace, Dead Souls, and Pushkin's collected poems. A whole world opened up. I read them over and over again until the sound and story imprinted into my genes. That is my education through K to 12, taught by the world's best masters, 3 of them Russians. I was beaten many times for reading these books. I was sent to the countryside to farm for 3 years for my stubbornness. But they made me who I am today, these books, the earth and sky as my teachers. You say Russian is old, useless, out of fashion. Well, Shakespeare and Dickens are even older, perhaps more useless in terms of money-making. Can we imagine letting them die? I scan the crowd. The king and the queen sit in the front row, eyes gleaming with anger. Since their first failure to eliminate Russian, they've been preparing hard for the second try. They are about to succeed. Now this maverick, this big mouse, this yellow plague, after Russian, she must go. I take a deep breath. My big mouth is going to cost my second try for promotion. I've come here to vote, not to speak. After I listen to the arguments for a while, my hand shoots up as if it had its own will. I wanted to tell the story, a human story, to the wall of statistics, history, theory. My career is already in the doghouse. To speak or not speak, well, same difference between the teeth of a pit bull or Rottweiler. In 2006, Russian saved me again, also our colleague, Tim. We were interviewing refugees displaced by the Three Gorges Dam in a remote village on the bank of the Yangtze River. We found an old man and his old house, the last one standing in the ruins. The coffer dam was about to be blasted in 2 days, and the river would rise 76 meters high. The mountains, the village, and the old man's house would be under the deep water. But he refused to leave. He was born in this house. So was his father, his grandfather, great-grandfather. This was his root. He was ready to go down with it. We talked for an hour in the house without windows, doors, electricity, water, all taken out by the authority. As we were leaving, The cops surrounded us in their shiny Land Cruisers and pulled us into the station. When the iron gate shut, Tim shouted, "I'm a professor and human rights lawyer. Who are you? Give me your name." He tried to rip the name tag off the officer's chest. I stopped him. The light in the cop's eyes said he would do whatever he needed to stop this foreigner's aggression, professor or lawyer. This is his territory. Nobody else knows we're here except for the cop and villagers. We could be stuck here for weeks, months. Soon we were taken to the interrogation room to be searched and questioned. I told the cop we were here sightseeing. Of course, he wouldn't believe us. As we were talking, I found out he was born in a border town near Russia, and he learned Russian in school as his second language. I pointed to Tim. He's a Russian professor. His eye lit up. "You sing Two Jolly Geese?" Before Jim could answer, he started singing in Russian. Once there was a grandma who had two jolly geese. One was gray, the other was white. Two very jolly geese. The geese washed their feet in a puddle in the ditch. One was gray, the other was white. They hid in a ditch. Tim's eyes also lit up at the sound of Russian, and he joined in singing. His hands had been shaking like aspen leaves. Now they waved happily as he and the cop waddled around the room playing the white and gray geese, singing at the top of their lungs. The grandma cried, "I've lost my geese. One is gray and the other white. Geese, my dear geese." Then the geese came out. They bowed to the grandma. One was gray, the other white. They bowed to the grandma. When the song was over, we laughed, and the room became a jolly playground. The cop continued his question and search, not only half-heartedly. He picked up my notebook. My heart jumped to my throat. It was filled with my interviews with the displaced refugees, and could have thrown us into jail for a long time. He fanned through the pages and put it down as if he didn't see the content. "What's wrong with him? Hungry?" He pointed at Jim's trembling hands. "Oh, he has diabetes. If he doesn't eat, he may go in shock," I said. Tim's hands shook for other reasons, but the little white lie might earn us some food, perhaps. The cop picked up the phone. 5 minutes later, 2 giant bowls of beef noodles arrived. They were delicious and free. A silly Russian song turned prisoners into guests. We chatted about life in America, China, Russia, as if we were old friends, until the International Custom Police arrived to interrogate Tim. They spoke English and meant business. They would not let us go until we confessed and signed our crime to nose around in the sensitive area to get sensitive information. I refused, knowing it was a trap. After many hours bargaining, we agreed to confess our mistake of entering a sensitive area, and we were let go with a written pledge that we would never return to the village. I look at the big clock on the wall. 10 minutes have passed, but Wang seems to have forgotten his order. I know the story is sinking in. It's going to swing a few votes. Colleagues, I could still be sitting in jail somewhere in China instead of telling you this story. Who would have imagined that a silly Russian goose song saved our lives in a remote Chinese village, now under the water? The king and queen are glaring at me now. "Just you wait, just you wait," I hear them say under their breath. I raise my voice. "Please save Russian. It may save your life someday." Russian is saved by 1 vote. Tim, the Russian chair, is all smiles. Gina is in tears. She's been refusing to retire in fear of losing the program. Now she can go home in peace. The campus erupts with joy. Students and faculty sing Two Jolly Geese as they pour out to celebrate the Russian victory. Within a minute, the room is empty. The king and the queen walk out slowly, my penalty inscribed on their backs. Death. Uh-oh, Ping, you're in big trouble. Is it worth it? Absolutely. A silly fable, a children's song, has just opened a common ground for us to be human again. What more could you ask for?